By the Toyota Warriors post-game live with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, NBA champion Festus Ezeli. I am Bonte Hill. What a shooting display. The starters come out and score double figures. So let's go back down to San Antonio for a man who dropped a career high and made threes tonight with 7. Brendan Pajewski, welcome to the program. And I'm sure the coaches emphasized getting off to a better start, especially on this road trip after what transpired in the first 3 games. And you guys did that tonight, Brendan, dropping 44 in the first quarter.
Yes, sir. You know, Coach put an emphasis on starting strong yesterday at practice, but he also told us we're 10-0 with this group that we're starting right now, and so he challenged us to be better. It puts less pressure on that next kind of wave of guys we bring in to, you know, have to fight back for us. But they're more than capable of doing that. Obviously, in New Orleans they did that, but 44 points in the first quarter is amazing.
Paz, this is the home stretch right now. You're getting ready for the playoffs. What do you feel like your team needs to work on to get better, or to be really ready for the playoffs?
I think just being really good the first 4 and the last 4 of each quarter, not letting teams, you know, feel good going into the next quarter. I think that's just the biggest thing, those 8 minutes every quarter. You know, that's a big 32 minutes out of the 48. And so if we can control kind of those minutes, obviously teams are going to go on runs. They're great players, NBA players for a reason. But if we can win the first and last 4 of each quarter, I think we'll be all right.
Paz, congratulations on a great game. You were 7 of 9 from the three-point line. Coming into tonight, the previous 7 games as a team, you guys were shooting just 32%. Do you feel it's just a matter of time before you guys find your rhythm? Because it seems like you're creating good shots. But tonight you guys made 21 threes, led by your 7 makes.
Yeah, I think, you know, shots are going to fall. Shots aren't going to fall. You saw in Miami they didn't. In New Orleans they didn't. But I think it's just sticking with it. It's a long season. Percentages go up and down, but at the end of the year, it's going to even out how you want to go. And I think as a group, when we start off strong with that first group, it gives everybody confidence down the line that they're going to come in and make shots, and the ball is going to swing. And when it has energy, a lot of threes go in for us.
All right, BP, before we let you go, I see you left Miami with a little bit of a memento, a souvenir, as I'm looking at you on the screen right now. You want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy that stays inside. If you know me, I'm inside playing video games with the guys all the time. And so when this boy gets some sun, it's pretty bad. Obviously, you see it on my face right now. But had a great time in Miami on the boat with the teammates. So we had a blast down there. And, you know, thankful we got the win.
Paz, SPF 70.
Yeah, SPF 70.
I don't know what I put on, but I put on so much of it, and I still got cooked, so I don't know what it is.
And Paz, don't trip off of Fezzi. He's just jealous he wasn't in Miami for 5 days.
Man, I'm still jealous.
Paz, we'll see you Tuesday night in Memphis, man. Congratulations on the great night.
Thanks, guys.
Great game.
Anytime. Brendan Pajewski, man, awesome night for him. 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Really has been playing well since the right abdominal strain. Remember, he missed 5 games due to the back injury. He picked up right where he left off. A solid night as the Warriors drop a season high in points, assists, steals, and fast break points.
Outstanding efficiency. You see the numbers there, 9 of 14, 7 of 9 from 3. But Bonte, and I mentioned to him just now in postgame, I feel like these are very similar shots that he's been getting. And I think as a team, they feel if they get these high-quality looks, they'll be more than capable of knocking them down come playoff time.
I mean, Paz does a great job tonight, setting the tone early. You see him on the three-point line, but these shots come when you move the ball, when you take care of the ball, and you're getting great quality looks. He's going to be able to hit those shots. Brendan Pajewski has been on the tear since he came back from his injury, just shooting the ball extremely well, and that's really important for the Warriors in that starting lineup that's undefeated so far this season.
And I don't think it's a coincidence with Steph back in the lineup. All of a sudden, now you have Jimmy Butler as a threat inside. You got Steph running off screens, and all of a sudden, those high-quality shots are back.
Well, this game was really won in the first quarter. So Warriors, we talked about their starts on this road trip thus far. They gave up 40 last Saturday in Atlanta as they shot 65% in that first frame. They were losing by 6 after the first quarter in Miami, and then we know what happened in New Orleans, getting behind 14-2. But tonight they came out flying out of the gates. Fezzi fell 44 points in that first quarter, a season high for first quarter points. They were moving the ball, they were creating turnovers, and they did their thing in that opening frame.
Yeah, Bonte, creating turnovers was really the story of the first quarter. I think they turned the San Antonio's over about 8 times, and that led to fast break opportunities. When the Warriors are playing fast, they're the most effective. You see this transition buckets, a 3 in transition, an open layup here and there, and they just got to play in open space, and that's where the Warriors are most effective.
Mully, they shot 70.8% in that opening frame, dropped 12 assists,
big
and only turned
fella.
the ball over 3 times.
And what was really impressive about this first quarter was Steph, I think, took 1 shot.
1 shot. shot.
So everyone else used Steph's gravity, stayed aggressive, and when you do that, then you got the opponent's defense messed up.
And look at these eye-popping numbers tonight. The previous 7 games, as you mentioned, Willie, the Warriors shooting just 32% from the three-point line. Tonight, nearly 48% from three. 57.7% from the floor, and they drop 148, Fezzi. So they play great defense, they play great offense as well.
Well, Bonte, this is not the greatest competition out there in the San Antonio Spurs, but for the Warriors, it is another chance to continue to shore up that offense, trying to work on that defense, really getting ready for this crunch time of the season right now. And so this is a great showing by the Warriors, making sure you don't take a step back when you're playing against lower competition, not playing down to it, but playing up in the game tonight.
Yeah, focus on how you're playing, not who you're playing. You mentioned earlier, Fezzi, too, getting your confidence, because a lot of these shots, that's what's going to be available. We talked pregame about some of the role players that had not been shooting the 3-ball well. When you're an opposing team and you're game planning, number 1, Steph Curry, number 2 is Jimmy Butler. And the problem is that one's outside, one's inside. So those shots are going to be there. It's important they get their confidence moving forward these next 7 games. So come playoff time, I believe all those shots that we saw tonight, they're going to be available come playoff time.
No doubt. That was the 5th 20-point game for Pods this season. But let's pick it up with Moses Moody. Remember down in South Beach, Miami, Moses Moody really struggled, going 0-9 for the 3-point line. Hit a bit of a slump, but tonight he got his game rolling early on. 4th 20-point game of the season, the 10th of his career. He was 7 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Thought he played well on both ends of the floor tonight, Fezzi.
He is going to be open on those wings, and Moses Moody has been hitting those shots. He hit a little bit of a slump recently, but his cutting, his ability to play off of Steph and Jimmy is going to be really important. That starting lineup with him in the lineup is really very effective when he's hitting these shots right now.
Yeah, Moses always understands where to get himself open at the 3-point line, but I love the fact he's attacking the paint as well, so he's got a nice bounce attack to his offense.
No doubt about that. So he's got to play well. All 5 starters scoring double figures for the 2nd time this season. Then you got some great bench production. The only knock on tonight's game is Jonathan Kuminga, who left midway through the 2nd quarter with a right ankle sprain, did not return to the game. Remember, that's the same ankle that forced him to miss 31 games, but the Warriors don't miss a beat. But that is a concern with J.K. moving forward.
Well, that's tough because J.K. just came back from an ankle injury, and after missing 2 months, he was really still starting to get his footing with that 2nd unit. He's been the scoring punch coming off the bench, and they're going to need his athleticism. They're going to need his defensive prowess. Gary Payton II is out. Now J.K. being out, it's going to be a problem and adjustment for the Warriors. But you don't have time to lick your wounds. You got to figure out a way to get guys into the game, and the Warriors did a good job of that tonight.
Yeah, it was an awkward fall. Actually, very similar to the way Steph Curry fell. He thought at first it was his tailbone. And you say it's the same ankle, Bonte, so definitely concern. An awkward fall there. So Jonathan coming off a really good game, having 8 rebounds, getting to the free throw line 8 times. You just hope he's able to get healthy as soon as possible.
No doubt with 8 games left there, so hopefully J.K. is okay. We'll see about his status a little later in the program as the Warriors will get ready to fly out to Memphis. But let's pick it up with Stephen Curry, who, as you mentioned, Willie, in that 1st quarter, the Warriors scored 44 points, and the Chef only attempted 1 field goal. The ball was hopping around with 12 assists in that opening frame, but Stephen Curry ends up with a solid night, and more importantly, he's moving well coming off of that pelvic contusion.
Yeah, I think last game he moved really well. We mentioned he was able to find 16 3-point shots, so that shows he's moving off screens, playing inside out, rhythm and flow is there. And tonight, look, San Antonio's always going to be ultra aggressive on Steph Curry, but he used that gravity, get his teammates involved time and time again. So again, I think come playoff time, really important that these role players get comfortable leading the way, especially in the 1st quarter. That's when you do that, then the defense has to adjust. Steph's always going to be ready and able to put up big numbers. But it's important that the players around him are aggressive to make that defense make an adjustment.
Yeah, a game like tonight's is really important for the role players' confidence. Yes, Steph Curry is a 25-point-a-game scorer. Like, he's always going to be a scorer. But the San Antonio Spurs were really banking on getting the ball out of his hands into the role players' hands. Doesn't matter who it was. Quentin Post, Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, all these guys were hitting shots. And when they hit shots like they are, when you make the defense pay, then the ball can come back to Steph and he can react. So for Steve Kerr right now, it's figuring out ways and different lineups and different combinations that work well with Steph.
Heck, even Buddy Hield came off the bench and scored 19 points, and the bench scored 61 overall. We saw Loon Dog hit a 3. His 11th 3 of his career. first 3 of the season. So the Warriors, is there any carryover for a game like this? You mentioned the competition, and we all agree back end of a back-to-back. San Antonio's playing for next season. They're in developmental mode. Can you bring this on the road with you to Memphis? Is there any carryover off of a performance like this?
Yes, Bonte. This is like a glorified practice. You're going against NBA players, incredible talent, guys like Stephon Castle, Vassell. These guys are talented players. And at this point of the season, you don't get any practice. One thing they talked about a lot is players reading and reacting off of each other offensively.